You're listening to an archived Cabral Concept podcast. After listening to this show, check out the most up-to-date podcasts available at stephencabral.com/podcasts or search directly on iTunes. And now, welcome to the Cabral Concept, where board-certified naturopath and integrative health practitioner Dr. Stephen Cabral shares how he was diagnosed at the age of 17 with a life-altering illness and given no hope for recovery. It was only after studying and traveling all over the world did he discover how to combine ancient Ayurvedic healing practices with state-of-the-art naturopathic and functional medicine to fully rebalance the body and re-energize it with life. It's time to discover how to get well, lose weight, and finally feel alive again. And now, here's your host, Dr. Stephen Cabral.
Excited you could join me today for this Friday review, where, as always, we're going to be going over the what's new, what's happening as of this past week in my naturopathic practice. We'll be going through the best of the research, and this research is brand new. Just came out May 21st, 2018 on some new cancer research that I think is going to blow your mind. It's pretty impressive. A recommendation, something I've been using in my own exercise routines, gotten to do a little bit more of it over the last couple months, and then we'll go over our super nutrient of the week, and it's one of my favorites. It's something that we've now added to our Equilibrium Nutrition line, and I'm excited to share that with you. So let's get started. What's new, what's happening, what's the latest and greatest? Well, literally, it's all of a sudden a heat wave in Boston, so I'm sitting here in my office recording this podcast for you, in close to 100-degree weather, and it's like that in my office right now. I'm legitimately sweating. Good thing I have my big bottle of spring water here. I'm trying to cool down, but it's the first time in this new office. I'm in a new office in Boston, and the AC, I've never used the AC. I moved in the end of last fall, and if you know Boston winters and late fall, you know there would be no need for me to test out those air conditioners. So needless to say, have to get those fixed, but the podcast must go on. So recording that here today. All kidding aside, we've had a great week in the practice. Saw so many new people. People have been very supportive and understanding that we had to take the CBD oil off our website for at least the next couple weeks. I talked about that, and unfortunately, I did post it in the Facebook support group. You can go there. It's cabralsupportgroup.com. And I just let people know that it's turned into this political battle. And I'm telling you right now that CBD oil, unfortunately, may be more and more difficult to come by, and they're looking to ban it, at least in the U.S. market. But I said I will always do my part to push forward. I will continue to sell it in the future, but right now we have to find a new payment processor that is willing to take payments for CBD oil. Pretty amazing that it's literally a plant. It has no psychoactive benefits. It has no THC in it. It's not a drug of any type. It's a plant, but yet it's being banned. I mean, when you look at that and how ridiculous it is, you can begin to see that this is all politics at play, and it's really too bad because it's the people that miss out. You know, it's been proven to work with everything from anxiety, depression, seizures, epilepsy, inflammation, cancer. So again, it seems obviously there's a political motive behind this, but hopefully we'll have that back on equilibriumnutrition.com in just a couple weeks. In some more exciting news, some more uplifting news, I'm looking forward to my personal summer Dr. Ball detox starting this coming Monday. So if you want to see me post my personal experience as I'm going through it, that's at cabralsupportgroup.com. That's our free Facebook group. It's just a fancy website URL that links over there to that. I have at least 30 people or so doing this with me, so it's going to be a really fun community detox. I do one every season. So I did one back in March. I'm doing one now it'll be right before 4th of July weekend, which will be exciting. So 4th of July week. And obviously in the US, that's a big week for us. So I always try to do mine either before 4th of July or right after, but of course, never during that week. So that's going to be great. Look for those posts right inside of cabralsupportgroup.com. That's new. That's the latest and greatest. That's what's happening. We have so many great things going on. So please do keep up by checking in at cabralsupportgroup.com. That's our online community group. So really excited. I want to get right into this research because a lot of people ask me, what are my thoughts on anti-aging? What are my thoughts on what's coming in the future? And this right here goes to show you what the future of medicine will look like. And I believe that this is going to be the perfect intersection between what we'll call nano-based quantum functional medicine. And I'll explain that in 1 second. Going back with Ayurvedic and traditional Chinese medicine-based herbs. Okay, here's why. This latest research has been shown to inhibit or destroy the cancer cells in those with lung cancer by up to 80%. I mean, this is really insane. I mean, that's remarkable. 80% effective. And that's, I don't know. I just think that that's so remarkable given that this is in the infancy of what they're doing. So essentially, there are these things called quantum dots. I believe that's the correct term, quantum dots. These are so small. Think of it this way, that a nanometer, so like a human hair, think about how thin a human hair is. You can see it, but think about how thin it is. That's 40,000 nanometers, okay? 40,000. Now, one of these quantum dots is 10 nanometers. You wouldn't be able to see it with the naked eye. You need an electron-based microscope. So what they did, though, and they've been using these for a while and everything from, I guess, again, I don't keep up with this. This isn't my industry, but solar energy and other types of things. And what they did, though, is they bound the actual plant chemicals in green tea. So they're looking at other types of tea, white tea, black tea, but they used plant variety that actually makes green tea, white tea, and black tea. And it was just referred to in the specific study that I'm reading. I'll link up the study right here. It's by Swansea University, and I'll link that up. And the actual study is called Green Tea Synthesis Derived CDS Quantum Dots Using Tea Leaf Extract. So, yeah, pretty impressive in the ACS Applied Nanomaterials. So just came out May 21st. Now, what does this mean for you? Well, here's what it means. We're taking plants, and then we're able to use the phytochemicals from these plants, which is just basically the essence of the plants, right? Because plants are medicine. But we're now using 21st century state-of-the-art technology to deliver those plants into the human body. Remember I told you this about, let's say a month or two, or maybe 5-6 months ago, who knows, as time passes quickly, that I believe that we'll always be using plant-based medicine, but the delivery method will change. I've always believed that. And so here's one of the things. Here's what they found. That in this study, so what they're doing is they're essentially taking the tea leaf extract, okay? They're taking the compounds from the tea leaves, and they're binding it with cadmium sulfate and sodium sulfide. And they're incubating this. They're creating something called a quantum dot. A quantum dot is way above my pay grade, okay? Way above that. I am not a physicist. I like to pretend that I am. I love reading books on quantum physics, but I'm not a physicist, and I'm not the expert in that, so you will not take your advice from me on this. But here's what the study found. The tea leaves are simpler to use. They're cheaper and less toxic for producing these quantum dots compared to the chemicals that they were using previously. Plus, the quantum dots produced from tea leaves inhibit the growth of lung cancer cells. They penetrated into the nanopores of the cancer cells, nano, just think of microscopic, and destroyed up to 80% of them. This was a brand new finding, and it came as a surprise for the team. So I had to bring you this. Why? Well, for one, if you have lung cancer or a different type of cancer, you'll want to see if they're using quantum dots right now as part of your cancer-based therapy. So, or pass it on to a loved one. That's what this is all about. Remember, just because you don't have cancer doesn't mean that someone you don't know or someone you know is not affected by it. Pass along the research. This is brand new going on. But this will compound. I really believe that. And you'll see this maybe as standard practice 5 years from now. And it's also why part of my work is to help you stay healthy longer. All right, in your 60s, I don't want you unhealthy. Because if I can keep you healthy in your 50s and 60s and 70s, and I know that if you're living for another 20, 30 years or so, can you imagine the technology we'll be using in 20, 30 years, not to stay alive longer? That's not what I want. I want people to live longer, stronger, to have the same quality of life at 90 that they did at 50. Because if you can't have that, I'm not sure that it's worth it. So that's why I bring you the research here today. I think there's so much more to come. But believe me, here's the deal. It's also why I don't close your eyes on any form of medicine. There's nothing wrong with state-of-the-art medicine. There's nothing wrong with technology as long as it's not creating more imbalances in the body. And how I look at this is we're using plant-based nutrients, but we're creating a better delivery system, and we're using those plants to their maximum ability. And then going back, of course, and doing the healthy lifestyle-based, whether it's the nutrition, the exercise, the sleep, the stress reduction, all of those things. So anyway, that type of research really gets me excited and definitely wants me to keep helping people to live longer for the next decade, 2 decades, so they get to use all of these things if, again, like God forbid, but if ever needed in your life or a loved one's life, that you'd have this for yourself as well. All right, moving on to maybe a little bit of a lighter topic. One thing that I've been using, I know it's not recent, but really over the last year, I've started to get into them a lot more. And then I bought my own set just about a month ago. So I've been using what's called battling ropes. I've called them battling ropes for quite some time. People call them workout ropes. What I'm going to do is I'm going to link up an amazing video So I wish they gave this girl credit in this video, but she's taking you through 4 minutes of 22 different battling rope moves. Everything from, and I'll explain what battling ropes are in 1 minute, alternating single arm waves, what's called the stagecoach, rainbow, sidewinders, rope slams, outward circles, snakes, tsunamis, and this great move. It's move number 12 called the rope hook. And this girl in the video, again, I'd love to be able to give her credit. She does, well, her site is called Redefining Strength, so this could be her. If it is, I'm going to link up her video. I'm going to give her for sure credit, but then I'd like to try to tag her on Instagram as well. She makes these exercises look easy, pretty impressive. So, and this is also something that's just very fun. Like how I train essentially compound plain exercises all winter long. I'm doing squats and deadlifts and presses and pulls, like getting like really boring, really straightforward. And then in the late spring and summer, I love to get outside and I love to do more functional base. I'm using the steel mace right now. I'll talk about that in the future. I'm using all sorts of different battling rope based moves. I'm getting outside. I'm just enjoying it. So I bought a battling rope and I'll explain which one to get in just a moment. And I have it outside and I just leave it in Maine and I have it on the grass. It just gets dirty. I don't care. I mean, like it's just this hardcore heavy duty rope and you can just have a lot of fun with it. So I do circuits with that. I have dip bars up there. I have assisted, what's it called? I have a doorway chin-up bar. Sorry, I was losing my train of thought. I have an ab wheel. So I have a lot of just like great functional based equipment. And the newest thing that I've added is a steel mace, which I'll talk about in the future. I have my kettlebells, of course, but I have the battling ropes now. So you can get them into different varieties. And I'm going to explain kind of what they are, what to do with them. But I'm going to link up this amazing video at stevencabral.com/868. That's today's show notes page. And I'll try to embed the video right on that page so you can just watch it. Okay. So the battling ropes come in 1 inch thick, 1.5 inches thick, 2 inches thick, and they can even get bigger from there. But here's what you need to know. The thicker the rope, the harder it is to hold on to it, and the heavier the rope gets, okay? So just know that if you buy a 2 inch thick rope, it's going to give you more of like a forearm workout, like holding the rope, but also it challenges your shoulders to a great degree, challenges your core. It's just a heavier rope overall. Okay, now the other thing is you can get your rope typically in a length of 30 feet, 40 feet, 50 feet, or even more. Again, you can go crazy if you want. I'll link up the one that I got in a couple different varieties in the show notes today at 868 as well. I ended up going with the 1.5 inch thickness and the 50-foot rope. It was the perfect choice for me. I was always like the buyer's remorse. Did I get the right one? Yes or no? And I'd been using them at my local gym for, again, like a couple years. But at the same time, I had never like measured the rope. I was hoping that I got the right one. So I got the 50 feet. I think most people get away with the 40 feet. I think the 30s, probably a little too small. Here's why. You wrap it around a post or you use an anchor. So you can use them in your basement. You can use them outside. But you're going to only get half of that, right? So my 50-foot rope, I'm only getting like, obviously it's 25 feet per side, right? But it's wrapped around. So maybe you're getting like 22.5 feet or so. So it's not a huge length of rope, but you need obviously 20 feet if you get the 40-foot rope. So you can check that out, see the space that you do have. And I got the 1.5 inch. I think that was the right weight for me so that I can do a little bit longer of a circuit. And the reason why I want to do a little bit longer instead of just like 10, 20, 30 seconds is I want to combine a bunch of the exercises together so I can do some different moves. So like, for example, I'm a big fan of like the stagecoach, which is just the 2 arms to get your body warmed up. And then I always move into alternating single arm waves. And then I'll go back and forth, which is called the sidewinders. I'll kind of be moving my body to one side and then the other. And then I'll go maybe back to what's called the stagecoach and I'll do a reverse lunge with it. So these are just great exercises that you can do. And I like to keep my body going with those if I can for 90 seconds. And I'm just like, really sweating and my body's pumping. My arms are swollen. My shoulders are sore. And it's great for both cardiovascularly and also it can double as a circuit as well as an interval-based workout. So really fun to do. If you've never seen them before, if you've never heard of battling ropes, I'm going to put the video up here today at stevencabral.com/868. Both men and women can do this. And I really believe that it's going to be more challenging if you're a beginner, but that doesn't mean that you can't start to do it now and get used to it because these aren't dangerous exercises. These are exercises that you can get to doing. And maybe you can only do like 5 reps or 10 reps of these exercises in the beginning, but your body's going to get stronger. And I consider this really a full body workout because you can be doing squat jumps with them. You can be doing jumping jacks with them. You can be doing backwards lunges. So a lot of great things in there. Pretty amazing for both an anaerobic and aerobic workout. Big fan. And so I wanted to pass along that recommendation to you. All right. And up last, but certainly not least, is our super nutrient of the week. Now, this is one that we've been getting, we've gotten questions on it now for over a year. At least that, what brands do you want? Which type do you want to look for? What's it good for? And that is none other than collagen. So collagen is one of the less understood products. And also, one of the things that could help you out the most, as you'll see in a minute, if you've been suffering from these specific types of symptoms and ailments. So one of the reasons why I wanted to be careful what I talked about in terms of collagen, it's got as a supplement, okay? Now, there's a few ways to get it. So one is that you can make actually a bone broth out of it using, let's just say you cooked a chicken and you're using the carcass of the chicken, which is the bones, the tendons, the ligaments, and maybe even some of the skin. And of course, as we're talking here today about collagen, we are not talking about a vegan or vegetarian-based food. We're talking about a nutritional supplement. You'll see how we tried to redefine the industry to use less animal-based product. I'll share with that at the end. But really what we're doing is we need to find a source that's using healthier animals. That is not using animals that were still fed corn and soy and Skittles and all the ridiculousness that they're doing with animals nowadays. So we're looking at a clean source for the animals, and we're also looking at a clean end product. Like, what are the different mechanisms that are being used to create your collagen? And just keep in mind, gelatin, a lot of people confuse the two. Gelatin is just cooked down, essentially, collagen. I don't want to go too deep into that today. If you have a lot of questions on it, I'm happy to do a follow-up show on the differences between the different types of collagen versus gelatin, collagen powder versus bone broth. Like, happy to do all of those. But essentially, we're getting the collagen whenever you cook down the cartilage and ligament and skin and tendons of a specific animal. It's not just the bone, so it's just not bone broth. You actually need to get a lot of people in a lot of Asian-based cultures, especially where I studied overseas, whether it be especially in China, I'll just say especially in China, they would actually use chicken feet. They would use the feet of the animal where there'd be a lot of gelatin. Same with the combs of the rooster heads, all of those specific things. So keep in mind, I was going to save this for the end, but one of the reasons why this might not be as barbaric as it sounds is that I'm a big proponent of how different people and nationalities and cultures and all that looked at eating animal-based products throughout human history. And in Native American cultures, as well as older, especially Eastern European cultures, they use the entire animal. So I just want to explain this. And again, you don't have to agree with that. I'm not even saying whether it's right or wrong. I like to explain the different philosophies. So they were extremely grateful for the food that they were given from this specific animal. And they used the entire animal so that nothing went to waste. So the origins essentially of collagen are that they would eat the animal. They would eat the organ meat. That would be the most prized, of course. And these were healthy animals that we're talking about. So they would eat the liver. They would eat the adrenals. They would eat all of the organs in the animal, essentially. Then they would eat the meat itself, or they would actually feed that to their animal sometimes, the muscle tissue, or they would cook that down to make it more digestible or edible. After that, they would take whatever was left, okay? They would literally use the feathers and everything for cloth-based making. They would cook down the hides, and they would use that for collagen as well, but then they would use the hides actually for clothing, and they would then put everything that was not edible, the bones and the cartilage, and they would cook it in a large pot. And they would cook that pot for days until that literally became a soup, and then they would drink the soup. They did that for many reasons. One, an appreciation of that animal itself so that nothing went to waste. And the second part was that they understood that they didn't necessarily know when their next meal would be, and so they were grateful for the food that they did have that day. So nothing went to waste. Again, you don't have to believe in eating animal meat or not, and I'm not even saying that you should or not. I'm just giving you what happened thousands of years ago that we know in recorded history. And if you look at it that way, I think it's just a nicer way of looking at the entire process, is just being essentially grateful and letting nothing go to waste, especially in our Western-based culture, where we just throw everything out. Like we order a massive steak and then just throw out anything that we don't eat. And like not understanding that at some point that was an animal, that we should really only take what we need. So again, I want to explain how we're doing things a little differently. And this was very, very important to me. I just want to share that with you at the end of the show and bring things full circle. But one of the reasons why, and you kind of say like, okay, why are people loving collagen? Like, why is it? It's literally, someone just sent me an article. I don't think I'm going to be able to find the article, but it is one of the hottest products right now in the supplement industry. And you say, well, why is, collagen one of the hottest products right now? And here's why. One is that it just simply works. So products that work will eventually catch on. when people, first heard about vitamin C and zinc and different types of glutamine and creatine, well, just flat out, they work. Bottom line is they just work. And same with collagen. And also, more now than ever, people are being depleted of their own natural collagen. And they're getting depleted of it because of sun exposure and just more stress and lower protein diets. A lot of people, again, they're on keto-based diets. Well, those are also synonymous a lot of times with lower protein diets, okay? So they can use something like collagen to actually get more of the support they need, even if they don't want to ramp up their protein. Okay, diets high in sugar, believe it or not, can deplete the body of collagen as well. Smoking, excessive exercise, really hard workouts, right? Poor digestion. Or what about people on acid blockers? Going to be very difficult to break down the protein, the collagen that your body needs in order to build back up. So what is collagen used for? Well, we need it for strong skin. We need it for elasticity, all the anti-aging properties. We call collagen the glue of the body. It's what holds everything together. So as we're aging and the body is starting to literally, we have looser skin or the skin is sagging, it doesn't look as vibrant. We have more stretch marks. All of those things are a sign of collagen-based depletion. Other reasons or other signs that you might be low in collagen is this, that you have joint pain, that you have this inflammation of the joints because collagen helps to repair joints. It's one of the main things that it does. Or a lot of people with leaky gut, one of the main things that collagen can help with, because it is higher in glutamine, is that it helps to rebuild that gut wall. So that's really important to look at as well. Another thing, poor metabolism or inability to put on muscle or lack of muscle tone can be a lack of collagen. Collagen is used and needed to make a strong body. That's it. Strong muscles, strong joints, hair, skin, and nails, right? Collagen has been shown for decades to strengthen your hair. If you have brittle hair, collagen's fantastic for it. What about your bones? What if you have osteoarthritis, osteoporosis? Collagen's been shown to help with that. So impressive. Again, it's been shown to work well with rheumatoid arthritis as well. However, rheumatoid arthritis is an autoimmune-based issue, and so I would not be looking towards collagen for the fix for that. I'd be looking deeper, such as running an organic acids test and a stool-based test, something like that, to look at gut-based function as well. Why does it help with detoxification and inflammation? A lot of people don't know this, but collagen is extremely high in glycine and proline, especially glycine. It's used to help with detoxification. It's also used to help you get into a nice, deep, relaxed state for sleep. So pretty remarkable. These are just some of the benefits. Again, the anti-aging benefits of the better skin, better hair, better nails, less wrinkles, less sun damage, less stretch marks. The metabolic ones with the better muscle tone, stronger, more supple skin, less cellulite. Again, joint pain, really great for that. We chose a specific formula. The reason we didn't create a collagen-based product for over 2.5 years is that there were fine ones out there, and we always recommended those, and we always linked up to those. But what we were able to do was hook up with 3 specific, it's not like a patent, like a pharmaceutical, but they actually have the methodology. Remember, it's always about the delivery system. I told you that, right? It's about the delivery system. These are they're called bioactive collagen peptides, so BCPs. These have always been around. So they're called bioactive collagen peptides. Well, one of the things that we have is called collagen hydrolysate. So it's essentially a pre-digested collagen. Let's put it that way. It's called Fortigel. And we chose this because it was shown in conjunction with Harvard Medical School and Tufts University, which are right around the corner from me, in a double-blind placebo study that athletes as well as aging people in that demographic were able to repair and improve joint health and mobility. So that was remarkable because I want a product that's going to improve overall joint pain, inflammation, and mobility. There's reasons for this as well. You can I'm going to link it up today. We put literally 18 clinical studies. There are 18 clinical studies. So when people tell you, oh, there's no research proof behind nutritional supplements, there's 18 right here. So that's one of the ones that we are really, really proud of. Another one is something we've added in called glucosaminoglycans. And these specifically, glucosaminoglycans, are used for when you look at glucosamine, chondroitin sulfate, right? We look at that to help support the synovial joint fluid. So there's a lot of people out there with joint pain, and they take glucosamine, they take chondroitin, they take MSM. All of those things can be really beneficial in adding more suppleness to the anticular cartilage and that basically that water-based tissue, right? It's hydrated, and they're missing that hydration. So there's 2 things the glucosamines look at. Is replacing that hydrogen, that's water, okay? They're getting more hydrated, and also detoxifying the joint. This has been proven to be able to be done with something called hyaluronic acid extract. So we put that in our product. They were also containing something called mucopolysaccharides. This is a type 1 form of collagen. We have type 1, type 2 in there. And what we're using this for is now the ability to rebuild and strengthen all of the tendons, ligaments, those go with the joint stability, hair, skin, and nails of the body. Now, I told you that we would come full circle on this. We were able to do this because of these specific extracts, and they're all put in there, okay? Tendoactive, okay, for the tendons, the joints, the hair, the skin, Fortigel, and Mobili, okay? So they're all fantastic, again, for different parts. That's why we wanted this. And we were able to do it with only 5 grams of animal-based protein coming from the collagen. This is 1/3 less. This is 33% less than most collagen powders. Why? Because we were able to use less of the animal-based protein and a better extraction method. That is why, just like in the cancer-based therapy that I mentioned earlier, and all nutritional supplements, I believe that we're going to be able to get better products in the future, but using still the all-natural products as our starting point. I've been using this product for a number of months now in order to test it out. I think it's phenomenal. I've given it to my wife. I've given it to people in my practice, and it's now available on equilibriumnutrition.com. I want people to try it. I just think it's the best product out there. And it's not even, again, you can look at all these different things. I don't own any of these patents, but when I saw them and I saw the research behind them, I said, okay, how do we get this into one product? So it's a phenomenal product. We put a little extra magnesium in there, a little bit extra sodium vitamin C to help with absorbability, to help plump up those joints. And there's 18 clinical studies if you want to look at all the clinical studies behind it. We'll be offering some type of special deal that I'm sure my team will put together. So I'll link that up today. Just obviously, that's over the next couple of days where we try to introduce it to people. That's at stephencabral.com/868. We have a bunch of new products at equilibriumnutrition.com. I'm probably not going to ever mention all of them that are up there, but you can see them at equilibriumnutrition.com. But this is one of those products that I'm more excited about because it's something that I'm using now. It's a way that we can use less animal protein, which I'm always trying to do in my own diet and with those people in my own practice. And for myself that I'm not even looking to consume red meat and those types of things, chicken on a daily basis. They're not things that I want to really include. I want to do less of those things, but I want to try to get a lot of the benefit from them. So everyone has their own personal take on that, and whatever you choose is perfectly fine by me. I support you wholeheartedly. Check everything out today. I'm going to put in the cancer research. I will put in the battling ropes, which are really exciting, and then one of my brand new favorite products called Advanced Collagen Support. Go to stephencabral.com/868 for all the links and recommendations. Thank you, everyone. I hope you have an amazing weekend. And as always, if there's any questions, feel free to let us know on the house calls, as well as at cabralsupportgroup.com. Take care. Have a great weekend. I will talk to you soon. Ever wonder what the best sauna, blue blockers, sleep trackers, wake lights, salt lamps, or other health gadgets are? Or what about the top non-toxic mattresses, sheets, soaps, bath products, toothpaste, and cookware? Or would you like to know the cleanest choices for hemp parts, meal delivery services, supplements, and much more? I personally curated, researched, and now created a resource page of all of my top picks that continues to grow each week. These are the exact products I use in my own life, with my family, in my private practice, and they're the ones I trust. To find out all of my up-to-date recommendations and all the details, simply head on over to stephencabral.com/resources.